Hello, students. Welcome to Smart World, a school of complete education. Today, we are going to learn the subject English, Chapter 21 Language Study. The language study pages aim only at acquainting the students with some terms that are useful when we talk about language and how it works. The entries given here should not be treated as teaching items. The information given here should not be used for the purpose of evaluating the student's knowledge of grammatical definitions. These pages are not meant to be read at a stretch. When opportunities of discussing language arise in the course of classroom teaching, the teacher can refer to the relevant entry or entries and also get the students to read them. The information should then be discussed with the help of examples drawn from the textbook or familiar sources. Students too can refer to this section from time to time. They may find this information useful while A. correcting their work, B. trying to understand the text, and C. using dictionaries and other reference books, D. trying to write literary and non-literary compositions on their own. If necessary, the teacher should show the students how to look up a word in these pages. Some words in these pages are printed in color. It means that they have been explained in these pages at the proper place. Abbreviation. A short form of word, phrase, etc. Example: Mr. MISTER, KM, kilometer, VIP, very important person, SSC, secondary school certificate, ETC, etc. meaning and other words, similar things, and the rest. WHO, World Health Organization. Abbreviations are mostly used in writing. While reading aloud or in speech, we use the full forms of abbreviation like Mr. for MR, Doctor for DR. Some abbreviations are read aloud by pronouncing each individual letter, as for example VIP. Some short forms are read as if they are a word. For example, PIN is read as pin. Note the abbreviations you come across and find the full forms. Act. One of the main parts into which a play is divided. An act must have 2, 3, even 5 acts or just one act. Active voice, C voice. Adjective. A word that tells us something more about a noun or pronoun. It may tell us about the shape, size, color, quality, material, origin, use, or other features of the noun it describes. Shape. A round table, a square sheet. Size. The building were huge, small shoes. Color. A red rose, milk is white. Quality. You are very kind, a strong medicine. Material. Wooden chairs, a silver spoon. Origin. Chinese food, Indian birds. Use. Dining room, drinking water. Many adjectives end with full, useful, less, careless, able, washable, why, salty, ous, famous, joyous, ive, active, creative, al, practical, optical. We can use very before most of the adjectives. Very happy, very colorful, very interesting. Adjectives have comparative and superlative forms. Example: big, bigger is the comparative, biggest is the superlative. We usually add est to short adjectives and use more and most with longer adjectives. Example: high, higher, highest, nice, nicer, nicest, famous, more famous, most famous, interesting, more interesting, most interesting. Note that we use the before superlative, the best, the most important. Sometimes we use 2 or 3 adjectives together to describe a noun. In such cases, the order in which adjectives are used depends on the meaning. The adjectives that show or express your opinion about something are usually put first. The other adjectives are normally put in the following order: size, age, shape, color, origin, material, use, or purpose. Example: a nice little basket, a brave young woman, a big red plastic bag, a noisy old drilling machine. Find phrases where more than 2 adjectives are used and note the order in which they are used. Adjective clause. A clause that functions as an adjective and tells us more about a noun. Example: this is the house that Jack built. Adverb. A word that tells us something more about. A verb. He runs fast. She went away. The girl sang sweetly. Suddenly the dog started barking. She did not smile. An adjective. The tea was too sweet. The lion was very strong. Another adverb. He ran very fast. A phrase or sentence. Luckily, he remembered the answer. Adverbs give us information about a place. Example, come here, come in. They give us example about time. Example, I saw a movie yesterday. I need a pen now. They give us example about manner or the way something is done. Example, read aloud, stand straight, run fast. They give us example about degree. Example, the water was too hot. They give us example about a cause or a reason. Example, she was tired and therefore unable to study. Many adverbs end with ly. Adverbs too have comparative and superlative forms. They are used for comparing the way something is done, the way something happens, etc. Example, who will run the fastest? Walk more gracefully. Find more examples of comparative and superlative forms of adverbs. Adverb clause. A clause that functions as an adverb and tells more about the main verb, action verb. Example, you can go out to play after you have done your homework. After you have done your homework. This is the adverb clause. They got wet because they didn't carry any umbrella. Because they didn't carry an umbrella is an adverb clause. Adverbial, a phrase or clause used for an adverb. For example, put it on the table. Alliteration, the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of words in a phrase, sentence, etc. Example, the green grass grew all around. Alphabet, a set of letters used for writing the words in a language. The letters have fixed order in the alphabet. The set of letters we use in writing English is arranged from A to Z. It is known as the Roman alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. are called letters, not alphabets. Antithesis, a figure of speech in which the same sentence includes a striking contrast between words. Example, one man's medicine is another man's poison. Antonym, the word that means the opposite of another word. Strong is an antonym of weak. Up and down are antonyms. Apostrophe. See punctuation. Article, the words a, an, and the are called articles. They are used before a noun. The is known as a definite article. It shows that the noun refers to a particular example of something. Example, I am looking for a blue pen and not the red one. A or an is called the indefinite article. It shows that the noun refers to a general example of something. I want a pen. Bracket, any pen. A plus consonant, a pen. An plus vowel, an apple. Before nouns beginning with a consonant sound, we use a, and before nouns beginning with a vowel sound, we use an. We do this both when we speak and when we write. Examples, a lion, a squirrel, but an ant and an elephant. If there is an adjective before the noun and after the article, the use of a or an depends on that adjective. Example, I ate an egg, but I ate boiled egg. A story, but an unending story. The definite article is always written as the, but when we speak, we pronounce it as the before consonant sound and the before vowel sound. Example, the lion, but the elephant. Aspect, a form of verb that shows whether an action is complete or is still continuing, or it may show that it happened or was happening in the past but still relevant. The two aspects are perfect, perfective, and progressive or continuous. Verb forms shown below show both tense, present, past, future, and aspect, perfect, progressive. Progressive, be plus v ing. Present progressive, they are going. Past progressive, they were going. Perfect, have plus ved or en. Present perfect, they have gone. Past perfect, they had gone. Perfect progressive, have been ving. Present perfect progressive, they have been going. Past perfect progressive, they had been going. Sometimes all these forms are referred to as only tenses. Autobiography, a book or story that someone writes to tell about their own life. Auxiliary, helping verb used with the main verb. It helps to show the tense form questions and negative sentences to show whether something is possible, necessary, etc. There are two sets of auxiliary verbs: be, have, do. I am going, they have gone, did he go, did not go. Modal auxiliaries. Auxiliaries like can, should, may, must. It can fly, they should come back, may I come in, she might come, a student must work hard. See modal auxiliary and verb. Biography. A book or story of someone's life written by others. Capitals. See punctuation. Characters. A person in a story, film, play, etc. Clause. A group of words that includes a subject and a verb. A clause can form complete sentence or be a part of a sentence. Example: in the sentence, I went home because it was getting dark. There are two clauses: I went home and because it was getting dark. In the above sentence, if you read only I went home, it sounds complete. So it is the main clause. There are two types of clauses: main and subordinate. Main clause. A main clause can stand by itself as a complete sentence. Even if you just read the main clause, it makes good sense. Subordinate or dependent clause. It cannot stand by itself as a complete sentence. If you read just subordinate clause, it does not make good sense. In the above sentence, because it was getting dark is a subordinate clause. If you read only this clause, you realize that it is incomplete and sentence includes something else. Subordinate clauses are further classified into adjective clause, verb clause, and noun clause according to whether they can act as adjectives, verbs, or nouns, respectively. Comedy. A play or film with a happy ending. Entertainment such as play, film, TV program, etc. that make you laugh. Comma. See punctuation. Comparative. See degrees of comparison. Adjective, adverb. Complement. There are two types of complement: subject complement and object complement. The subject complement is a verb or phrase used after a verb and describing the subject of the verb. For example, in I am hungry, hungry is a subject complement. Other examples: she is clever, he is a teacher, she became a doctor. An object complement comes after the object of verb and gives us information about the object. Example: they made her secretary. She found the letter interesting. Complex sentence. See sentence. Compound sentence. See sentence. Compound words. When two or more words are linked together to produce a word with a new meaning, that is called a compound. Examples: postman, red-headed. Conjunction. A word that joins words, phrases, or sentences. Example: and, or, but, because, if, etc. Consonants. Repetition of consonant sounds, especially at the end of the words in a phrase or sentence. Example: think tank. Make collections of the examples of alliteration and consonants. Consonant. A speech sound like b, sh, the, etc., which is not a vowel. The consonant letter is a letter that represents a consonant sound. Example: the consonant letter C stands for the sound so in city and k in come. The consonant letters are used for writing English are B, C, D, F, G, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. Definite article. The. See article. Degrees of comparison. We use different forms of adjectives and adverbs to show comparisons. They are known as degrees of comparison. Positive: he is as tall as his brother. Comparative: he is taller than his brother. Superlative: their sister is the tallest amongst the three. See adjective and adverb. Determiner. Determiners are words usually used before a noun. They determine or specify that noun. They include articles, that is a and or the, numbers and words like this, that, some, any, each, every, much, many, my, your, their, etc. Dictionary. A book that lists the words in the language in alphabetical order and explains the meaning, use, pronunciation, etc. Direct object. See object. Epic. A long poem about the brave and exciting deeds of great men and women. Ramayana and Mahabharata are epics. Essay. A short piece of writing about a particular topic. Euphemism. A mild word or expression used for something unpleasant. Example: use of pass away in place of die. Exclamation. A sound, word, phrase, or short sentence that shows sudden and strong emotion. For example: oh, what a surprise! Too bad. Figure of speech. A word, phrase, etc. used in an unusual, imaginative way for better effect. Simile, metaphor, personification, or figures of speech. Finite verb. Finite verb forms show tense, past or present, number, singular, plural, or person: I am, you are, she is, etc. They can be main verb in a sentence. We study English. She likes mangoes. They were happy. He came home. Full stop. See punctuation. Future. It is a time after the present, the time after now. We use will with a verb to show that something will happen in the future. Example, she will tell us a story tomorrow. Next year you will be in standard 10th. With I and we, shall is also used especially in questions. Shall we go? We can also use be plus going to plus verb to talk about future plans, events, etc. Example, I am going to learn music in the next vacation. Gender. The grammatical division of masculine, feminine, and neuter into which nouns, adjectives, etc. are divided in some languages. English nouns are not grouped according to gender and normally they do not special endings to show gender. Some exceptions are actor, actress, prince, princess. Compare this with nouns in your mother tongue. Note that personal pronouns he or she and it show masculine, feminine, and neuter gender respectively. Some nouns can be replaced by both he or she according to the context. Example, cook, teacher, doctor, cousin, singer, and student. Some nouns can only be replaced by he, king, father, boy. Some nouns can be replaced by she, girl, mother, queen. Some nouns can be replaced only by it. Inanimate nouns like box, tree, table, names of plants and animals. Example, rose, bird, mouse. Sometimes people use he or she for pets or other animals. Gerund. The ing form of verb used as a noun. It is also called verbal noun. For example, I like shopping. Swimming is my favorite sport. Glossary. A list of difficult words with their meanings, especially one given at the end of a book or passage. Grammar. The study or use of the rules for changing the form of each word and combining them into make sentences. Each language has its own grammar and set of rules. Hyperbole. Use of exaggeration to achieve an effect. Example, if I can't get a smartphone, I'll die. Idiom. A phrase or a sentence that has special meaning as a whole, which may be different from the meaning of the individual words. For example, I want to go through the book. Here, go through means read. Indefinite article, a or an, see article. Indirect object, see object. Infinitive. The basic form of a verb, come, go, be. In English, this basic form can be used by itself or with to. Example, bare infinitive, used by itself. I can swim. You must come. He made them cry. I let the fish go. Be. To infinitive. He wants to come. I like to sleep. She learned to ride a bike. He asked us to stand up. Intonation. The rise and fall of voice that adds meaning to what is said. For example, the voice rises and goes up at the end. You need coffee? To show that is a question. Intransitive verbs. Verbs that do not need an object are intransitive verbs. Examples, dog bark. Dogs bark. Irony. Use of words to imply the opposite of what they mean. Example, when Kapil broke the cup was while washing it, his mother said, "That's wonderful." Letter. A written or printed sign that stands for a speech sound. While writing English, we use capital letters A, B, C and small letters A, B, C. Letter. A written message that usually sent by post. Link verb or linking verb. A verb that connects the subject of a sentence with its complement. Example, you look beautiful. He is a doctor. He is nice. Forms of be with pronouns. I am, I was, I have been, I had been. We are, we were, we have been, we had been. You are, you were, you have been, you had been. You are, you were, you have been, you had been. He, she, it is. He, she, it was. He, she, it has been. They are, they were, they have been, they had been. Metaphor. An imaginative expression that refers to someone or something as another person or thing. It implies that the person or thing has some quality of that of another person or thing. The words as or like are not used in metaphor. Example, the child was a fountain of joy to them. He is a gem. The mango is the king of fruits. Modal auxiliary or modal. A helping verb, the modal auxiliaries are can, may, shall, will, could, might, should, would, must, ought to, used to, need, dare. We do not use to before a modal. We do not add ed or ing to a modal. We can form questions and negative sentences using modals without using the auxiliaries be or have or do. Example: can you swim? May I drink water? Must he complain? He cannot jump high. You must not cry or may not like it. A modal auxiliary is always followed by an infinitive. Example: can sing, may go, shall write, etc. See auxiliary and verb. Collect examples of sentences where modal auxiliaries are used. Translate them into your mother tongue, keeping in mind the context in which they are used. Noun: a word that is used to name a person. Example: Rohan, Reshma, as also girl, doctor, student. An animal: cow, hare. A place: Mumbai Mountain School. A thing: table, house, milk. An idea or quality: anger, courage, etc. The names given to a particular person or places are known as proper nouns. Example: Anand, Nagpur, Narmada. The rest are common nouns. Example: a boy, city, river, book. Common nouns can be further classified into concrete and abstract nouns. Concrete nouns stand for the things that you can actually touch or see. Example: building, lion, plant, spoon. Abstract noun stands for ideas, qualities, feelings, etc. that you cannot actually touch or see. Example: bravery, wisdom, pity, poverty, thought, childhood, laughter. Some nouns stand for groups of things or people. Such a noun is known as a collective noun. Example: a crowd of people, a class of children, a herd of cattle, a flock of birds, lists of names, packs of wolves. Some nouns refer to something that can be counted. Example: two spoons, three stars, four ideas. They are countable nouns. Some nouns refer to something that cannot be counted. Example: light, water, strength. They are uncountable nouns. A countable noun has two forms, singular and plural. When it refers to one thing, it is singular. Example: moon, flower, man, cat. When it refers to many things, it is plural. Example: moons, flowers, men, cats. Many nouns end with NESS, ITY, MENT, TION. Noun clause: a clause that functions as a noun, as a subject, object, or complement in a sentence. Example: I want to know what you think. You think is a noun clause. Novel, a long written story, usually about imaginary characters and events. A novel is usually long enough to fill a book. Object: a word, phrase, or clause in a sentence that refers to the person, thing, etc., affected by the action of the verb. Example: she cooked rice. He gave me a pen. She bought a car. There are two types of object, direct and indirect. The direct object is directly affected by the action. For example, in he gave a pen, the pen is the direct object. Indirect object refers to the person or thing to whom or for whom the action is done. He gave me a pen. Me is the indirect object. Some verbs do not need any objects. Example: fly. Birds fly. Rain. It rained heavily. They are called intransitive verbs. Some verbs need an object or objects. Example: read. I read a book. Catch. He caught the ball. The verbs are known as transitive verbs. Onomatopoeia: a word or words imitating the sound of what it refers to. Bang, hiss, splash, etc. Paragraph: a part or section of a piece of writing. A paragraph starts a new line, usually it is the main idea. Part of speech: in grammar, words are divided into classes known as parts of speech. They are noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Participate: a word formed from a noun by adding ing, present participle, or ed or en, that is past participle. Passive voice: see voice. Past: it is the time before the present time, the time that has gone by. We use past tense form of verbs to show actions or events in the past. Example: she took my book yesterday. I was in standard 7th last year. Long ago there lived a king. Pause: a temporary stop in speech. When we read aloud, we take a pause at a comma, semicolon, and a full stop. Perfect: see aspect. Personification: referring to a thing or quality as if they can think and act like a person. Example: flower danced in the meadow. Jealousy reared its ugly head. Phonetic symbols: symbols that show the different sounds in our speech. In writing, we use letters to show sounds. But some letters stand for many sounds. For example, the letter C stands for both S and K sounds: nice, city, cut, call. On the other hand, some of the different letters stand for one and the same sound. The A in all and AW in dawn, the O in born, all stand for the same sound. The sound F, shown by different letters in fish, cuff, graph, and puff. Therefore, sometimes a special system of writing is used in which one symbol or letter stands for only one sound. These special symbols are called phonetic symbols. They are used in a dictionary to show the pronunciation of words. Phrase: a short, meaningful group of words, a meaningful part of a sentence. Play: a story or piece of writing which actors perform in a theatre. It includes the conversation between the characters and the stage, directions with sound and light effects, that is, description of what happens on the stage. You can perform a play on radio or TV too. Plural: the form of a noun, pronoun, or verb which refers to many persons or things. Example: children, tigers, caps, we, they. In English, we do not use the plural pronoun they to refer to an elderly or senior person. We use he or she. Poem: a piece of writing in which usually there are short lines with rhyming words at the end. Some poems may not have rhyming words at the end. These lines often have rhythm. Poems express deep emotions, memorable experiences, or striking images in beautiful, fitting words. There are humorous poems too. Predicate: a part of a sentence that tells us something about the subject. In Birds Fly in the Sky, bird is the subject and fly in the sky is the predicate. Prefix: a letter or group of letters added to the front of a word to change the meaning and make a new word. Un plus tie, that is untie. Non plus stop, that is non stop. Dis plus like, that is dislike. Miss plus lead, that is mislead. Super plus man, that is superman. Over plus cat, eat, that is overeat. Mini plus bus is minibus. Counter plus attack is counter attack. Inter plus national is international. Re plus wind is rewind. Tri plus angle is triangle. Vice plus president is vice president. Preposition: a word or a group of words used before a noun or pronoun to show place, time, position, etc. Example: in the park, on the table, at home, from Monday to Friday, after 5 p.m., in front of the school, etc. In the above sentences, in, on, at, from, to, after, of are the prepositions. Present: the time now. We use the present tense forms of verbs to show the actions, events that are happening now. Example: she goes to school. It looks beautiful. Progressive. See aspect. Pronoun: a word that is used instead of a noun. The pronouns in English are I, we, you, he, she, it, they, and the forms like my, mine, me. Pronunciation: the particular way in which words are said. Prose: written language in the ordinary form, not in the form of poems. Examples of prose are passages, stories, reports, etc. Proverb: a short, well known sentence or the phrase that gives advice or tells you what generally true. Example: a stitch in time saves nine, means if one does something in the time or immediately, it saves a lot of work later. A proverb is also known as a saying. Pun: a play on words based on the different meanings for a humorous effect. Example: writing with a broken pencil is pointless. Punctuation: in writing, we show words and sentences separately. We use we also show whether a sentence in a question or an exclamation or a statement. We show what each person has said in the course of conversation. We show these and many other things with the help of certain marks. Punctuation is a system of using these marks in writing. We use them to separate or specify certain items. Apostrophe: the apostrophe is the punctuation mark. It is used with S or by itself to show that a thing or a person belongs to somebody. Examples: Raju's toy, my brother's bat, her friend's father, the cow's tail, the princess's ring, a week's holiday. Note that apostrophe s is used mainly with the names of living things and also in some phrases denoting time. Normally, it is not used with non living things. We say the leg of the table and not the table's leg, the surface of the wall and not the wall's surface. The pronoun it, we use s and not apostrophe s. Example: its horns, its cover. With a plural noun ending with s, we use only the apostrophe and not apostrophe s. For example, boys, school, rabbits, ears. We can use either only apostrophe or apostrophe s with names ending in s. Example: Suhas's bag or Suhas bag. The apostrophe is also used to show that a letter or letters have been omitted. Example: am, that is I am, he'll, that is he will, it means it is or it has. The apostrophe is sometimes used to show the plural of letters and numbers. Example: dot your I's and cross your T's. Capital letters. Capitals or capital letters are used to begin a sentence. It is raining. I is capital. Birds fly. B is capital. What's your name? W is capital. How nice. H is capital. Go home. G is capital. To begin each line of a poem, into the sunshine, I is capital. Full of light, F is capital. Leaping and flashing, L is capital. From morn till night, F is capital. To begin a proper noun and words derived from the proper noun. Example: Shushma, George, English, Indian, Himalaya, Pune. Here all the first letters are in capital. In titles of books, film stories, etc., like Balbharti, Sleeping Beauty, The Last Leaf. Here the first letters are in capital. In some abbreviations, that is B.A, Srimati, PTO. The pronoun I and the exclamation O are always in capital. Colon. A colon is used to introduce a list or examples. We need the following: a pen, a pencil, a ruler, and a piece of paper. There are three types of volcanoes: colon, active, dormant, and extinct. Between two closely connected sentences, to introduce a quotation, the speech of a character in a play, comma. Comma show a slight pause. They are used to separate words in a list. There are lions, comma, tigers, comma, horses, comma, monkeys, and dogs, to separate phrases or clauses. By the way, comma, since you are interested in these little problems, comma, and since you are good enough to record some of my experiences, comma, you may be interested in this. In writing conversations, come here, comma, she said. He said, comma, that's right. To separate an introductory word or phrase that applies to the whole sentence. As a result, comma, they lost the match. Before or after the word or words used to address someone. Elementary, comma, my dear Watson. Daddy, comma, I have a question. Dash. Dash is used to separate parts of a sentence. She was counting something in a very low voice. Dash, almost a whisper. Sometimes it is used in place of the colon. Exclamation mark. It is used after an interjection or exclamation. Congratulations! Exclamation. Wish you all the best! Exclamation. Shocking! Exclamation. Full stop. Full stop is also known as period. It shows a longer pause. It is used at the end of a statement or order. Dogs are loyal. Full stop. Come in. Full stop. In some abbreviations. BSc, B.Sc. Hyphen. Hyphen is used to connect the different parts of a compound word. Double hyphen click. Easy hyphen going. It is also used to show that a verb continues on the next line. Question mark is used at the end of a question. What time is it? Question mark. Do you know the answer? Question mark. Why don't you join us? Question mark. Quotation marks. They are also known as inverted commas. They are used to mark a quotation or specially used word or phrase. Double quotation marks are used in writing conversations. Semicolon. It shows a pause. It is used to separate clauses, especially those which are not joined by conjunction. Question. A sentence or phrase that is used to get information or to ask for something, etc. Register. Language used in a particular context or a subject matter. Rhyme, a short poem or song for children. Rhyme, if two words rhyme, they end with the same sound. For example, the word king rhymes with ring, but you cannot rhyme pack with book. Rhyme scheme, the pattern of rhymes used in a poem at the end of lines in each stanza. The pattern of rhymes or rhyme scheme is shown with the help of letters of the alphabet as A, B, B, or A, B, etc. Rhythm, a regular repeated pattern of sounds or movement. Scene, a part of a play or film, the place and time of action. Whatever is happening in the play or film does not change in the same scene. Sentence, a group of words that expresses a complete idea, a statement, a question, or a command. Examples, my elder brother is in the college. Do you know this address? Be quick. Sentences are classified into three types: simple, compound, and complex. A simple sentence is one that has only one subject and one predicate. It has only one finite verb. Example, Margie was hurt. Compound and complex sentences have two or more clauses. A sentence made of two or more independent clauses is compound sentence. Example, open your books and start reading the poem. I called him but he did not stop. A complex sentence consists of one main or independent clause and one or more subordinate or dependent clauses. Example, I went out because I wanted to play with my friends. These subordinate or dependent clauses cannot make independent sentences. Short story, a short written story about imaginary characters and events. Simile, an imaginative comparison of two different things used which have something in common. A simile always includes the words as or like. Examples, as playful as a kitten, as lovely as a flower. Simple sentence, see sentence. Singular, the form of a noun, pronoun, or verb which refers to the one person or thing. Example, child, tiger, cup, I, it, he, she. Sound, a sound is something that you hear. Stanza, a stanza is a part of a poem. The lines in a stanza usually have rhyming words at the end. Separate stanzas in a poem are shown by more space or distance between them, or by changing the arrangement of lines. Statement, a statement is something that you state, that is, say or write to give definite information. Example, the sky is blue. Stress, stress is the extra force used when pronouncing or saying a word or syllable. For example, in the word English, the syllable eng is stressed. In the sentence, say it in English, the word English is stressed. Subject, the subject of a sentence is the part which names the person, thing, etc. that we speak about. The remaining part of the sentence is known as predicate. Subject, a word or phrase in a sentence that shows who or what does the action stated by the verb. Example, my mother saw a peacock in the garden. The glass fell from the table. The subject usually comes first in a sentence. The subject is left out in commands. Example, go home. The singular and plural form of the verb depends on the subject. She was sleeping. All the girls were sleeping. Monica likes mangoes. Monica and her friends like mangoes. He is going home. They are going home. Raju has a sister. They have a cousin. Suffix, a letter or group of letters added at the end of a word to make another word. Examples, cook plus er equal to cooker, act plus or equal to actor, book plus let equal to booklet, child plus hood equal to childhood, friend plus ship equal to friendship, king plus dumb is equal to kingdom, care plus full sorry equal to careful, read plus able equal to readable, act plus ion equal to action, simple plus fi equal to simplify, scar plus phi equal to scary, perfect plus ion equal to perfection. Sometimes the last letter or letters of the word may be changed or dropped by adding a suffix. Superlative degree, see degrees of comparison. Syllable, a part of a word. There is one vowel sound in each syllable. They may have one or more consonant sounds at the beginning or at the end. The syllables in some words are shown here. A dash go, a go. AC tion, action. CREA-TURE, creature. JO-KER, joker. EX-PLA-NA-TION, explanation. With words like no, cat, ass, stone, school have one syllable. Synonym: two or more words from the same language that have the same or more or less the same meaning. Good, nice, pretty. Shut, close, sealed. Tense: the form of verb which shows the time at which an action happens. Past: she went. The present: she goes, or the future: she will go. See aspect. Thesaurus: a type of dictionary that lists words according to their meanings. Words and phrases with similar meaning are put together in a thesaurus. It is very useful for writers. Title: the name of a book, poem, story, picture, etc. Tragedy: a play of film with a sad ending. Transitive verbs: verbs that need an object are called transitive verbs. Example: he wrote a poem. Verb: a word or group of words that show an action. What people or things do and what happens to them. Write, fall, float. A verb may also describe a happening. It rained, it became dark. Or a state, she was unhappy. Verbs are different forms that show tenses. The time of the action to which the verb refers. Future, past, and present. Verbs have singular and plural forms only in the case of the present tense. Come singular, come plural. Note that we do not use singular forms with I and you. I come, you smile, and not I comes, you smiles. The verbs be, bracket, am or are, is or are, was or were, being or been, have, bracket, has, have, having, had, and do, bracket, does, do, doing, did, done, can be used as main verbs in a sentence. Example: for be, I'm 12 years old, they were ready. Have, I have a brother, the dinosaur had a long tail. Do your best, she did some work. These verbs are also used with the main verbs in a sentence to show certain things. They are called auxiliary or helping verbs. Be plus main verb shows that the action is not complete. It goes on. Example: I am running, it is raining, they were playing, the present and the past progressive respectively. Have plus main verb shows that the action about which you are talking now is or was complete. Example: I have done my homework, she had read the book, the present and the past perfect respectively. Do is used with the main verb. A. To form questions. Do you know the answer? Did you see the bird? What do you want? What did the queen tell them? B. To form negative sentences. We did not go back. Sorry. Be and have auxiliaries can also form questions and negatives. Do is not needed when these are used. Examples: A. Questions. Are you writing a story? Have you written this? Why have you come back? Negatives. I was not feeling well. She had not seen the book. There are other verbs like can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to, used to, etc., which show whether something is possible, allowed, necessary, etc. These are known as modal verbs or modal auxiliaries. They too are used as auxiliaries with the main verbs. Examples: I can swim. You may come in. You should not work too hard. Must you go? See tense, aspect, and auxiliary. Verse: a poem in general or a group of lines forming a unit in a poem or song. Example: song with 4 verses. Voice: the form of a verb that shows whether the subject of a sentence does an action in active voice or has an action done in passive voice. Example: the policeman stopped the traffic. Active voice. The traffic was stopped by the policeman. Passive voice. Note that the object in the active sentences become the subject of the passive sentence, and the verb form includes a form of be plus past participle. We normally use the passive voice to emphasize what happened, happens, etc., rather than who or what does the action. In the passive sentence, the doer of the action may or may not be mentioned. We use by before it when it is mentioned. The nuts were cracked. The nuts were cracked by a squirrel. The nuts were cracked by a squirrel with its teeth. Vowel. A speech sound you make without closing any part of your mouth or throat. For example, a. A vowel letter is a letter of the alphabet that stands for the vowel sound. The vowel letters are A, E, I, O, U. The letter Y too sometimes stands for a vowel. Note that the letter may stand for different sounds in different words. For example, the same vowel letter A stands for different vowel sounds in the words all, ate, ant, arm, etc. Word. A group of sounds or letters that has meaning. A word is a unit of language. A word is written by leaving spaces on both sides. Many times new words are formed using different processes. They are affixation, adding a prefix or suffix to another word. B. Conversion, changing the class of word without adding a prefix or suffix. Example, run, verb, and run, noun. Compounding, that is joining two or more words to produce a word with a new meaning